Hi, Dave Roscoe here. It is Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025, and I have an update on the migration mystery that I talked about yesterday, and also an issue that's been popping up lately with wallets failing to load. We'll talk about that as well. But first, the metrics. My anti-scammer bot currently has 2 wins and 1 loss. This is with the next generation bot, and I've decided not to include metrics from my previous bot because it was old tech and was not successful at all. This new bot is going to be what it is, and I'll win some, I'll lose some, and I'll post it here. If you have or know somebody who has a compromised wallet or even suspect it, because a lot of people don't realize that their wallet's been compromised until after it's been stolen. If you even suspect it, reach out to me in the comments. I'll give you a way to contact me, and maybe I can help. I make no guarantees. It's a race, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But if you don't try, you always lose. The circulating supply is 7.7 billion pi. And there were no user accounts migrated in the last 24 hours. That makes it 4 days now without a migration. It is clear to me that they are working on something in the background. I'm seeing lots of intermittent issues loading some of the Pi network pages. I'm seeing data that is taking longer to populate. And I'm seeing some random failures in the app, which is probably linked to the wallet loading problems that I've been seeing. So they're definitely working on something, and that's fine. That's great. We like that. And you don't leave the engine running while you're working on it. So it doesn't bother me that the migrations aren't happening right now. I know a lot of people are going to get angry about the fact that there's been no migrations because they're waiting on their own. And I get it. That's understandable, but they have to be able to improve the network, and sometimes you got to shut things down. There remains 43.8 million Pi in the Pi migration wallet, and migrations have not continued. Migrated unlocked rewards is at 2.53 billion Pi, with 5.1 million Pi unlocked in the last 24 hours and now free to be traded on the open market. Looking at the price action, the Pi coin is currently trading at 48 cents, which is up 6.53% from this time yesterday. The market cap is at $3.71 billion, which is up 6.5% as well. These two typically go together just because of the way this works, but sometimes there's a little difference. The daily trading volume is at $207.36 million, which is up 198% from this time yesterday. And that's not even the highest it's been in the last 24 hours. As you can see here, we had a spike up to about 52 cents at one point, and then it pushed back. And now it's kind of leveling off at this new 48 cent mark, which is good. I mean, generally, you can see it's an upward trend. If we take a look, you can clearly see on the 7-day that we've bumped up, and now we're trading at a new level now, and it's in the right direction for a change. So I have no idea if this will continue. I didn't talk to Bullish Babe today to go over what the charts are looking like. I mean, just looking at this looks like a bear flag, which would suggest that we are looking at a downturn, but that's only at first glance. Looks can be deceiving, and things look different when you're looking at different time frames. So don't take my word for it. So yesterday I mentioned a user that had a strange problem. He had a migration that unlocked, but he couldn't claim it. Now, I know a lot of people in the comments were giving the obvious answers. It's like, look, guys, I know how this works. This isn't my first rodeo. I know that you go to the migrations page and have to manually move it. If it was that simple, I would have recommended it and you would have never heard about this case. So in this case, just to recap, this user had a migration that had a strange unlock behavior. But besides that, when the unlock time expired, the Pi unlocked, but he couldn't transfer it to his available balance because when you went to the migration tab, there were no lockups available to move. So his Pi was stuck in some kind of limbo and he didn't know how to resolve it. So he reached out to me, and then I did some looking into it and confirmed that, yeah, there's a balance there and it's just not available to claim on his app for some reason. So I reached out to the audience, because I know some moderators watch my updates, to see if we could get some traction with the Pi core team, if they could run it up the ladder, basically. I did hear from one of my moderator friends, and he made me aware of something I did not know. Now, everybody needs to do two-factor authentication, but the way I thought it worked was that you could not be migrated if you have not completed two-factor authentication. Well, apparently that's not entirely the case. There's another mode of operation here that really is kind of scary, and I don't like it because it seems to me that it's designed to cause confusion and anger. And here's how it works. If you have a migration that is in the 14-day pending period, and you have not completed two-factor authentication by the time that pending period expires, your migration will be recalled to the app. Now, some people in the comments yesterday were reporting this exact behavior. Now, I think that's silly, honestly. I mean, first off, where was this communicated? I found out about this, basically from an offhand comment from a moderator. But I can imagine this is causing confusion for a lot of people. And I got to say, Dr. Cheng Dao Fan, is a social anthropologist, right? And some of these decisions they make, I swear to God, we're a social experiment to her, and she's just collecting data. I have no proof of that, but when I look at some of the decisions that are made, you have to wonder, is it willful or they just don't have a clue? And I have a hard time believing in this day and age that you don't have a basic understanding of what makes a good user interface for users, especially when you have like money on the line, right? People get really, really strange when they have money on the line. They don't want to see weird things. But anyway, in this case, I don't think that's what happened here. And in fact, I was right. If your Pi gets recalled, if you click on the lockup information, it'll say recalled. And it'll often say something on the mainnet checklist as well. And of course, the telltale is that now your former migration is back in your transferable balance. In this case, there was nothing that said the migration was recalled, and the user's transferable balance was effectively zero. So I'm working on the assumption that there's a defect in the Pi Network app that is just simply not showing the correct information. It's a user interface problem. And in this case, I was right. On the screen here, we have output from a tool that I've developed that will look at locked balances on a user's wallet and tell you what's there. And in this case, what was there was the exact lockup that this user was trying to claim, and he just couldn't do it. So I basically pointed out my conclusions to him, and I said, look, my anti-scammer bot effectively does what you need to do. So if you want to work with me, I can get you out of this situation, and hopefully the Pi Network will be able to fix their software. So he agreed, and we were able to claim his balance. So now he should have the full balance that was somewhere stuck in limbo sitting in his wallet. Now, he couldn't confirm it for me because he was having issues loading his wallet. And I've seen this as well. And I'll talk about that next. So yeah, we now have confirmation that whatever this is, it's a bug in the Pi network software, and it needs to be fixed because this is going to cause problems. I know other people who said they've seen the exact same thing. But the important thing here is that we now know a subtle feature of the two-factor authentication. So if you see weird behavior with your migration and that it doesn't show up as claimable after the unlock expires, check your transferable balance and tap on that migration to see if it says it's been recalled. And again, chances are your step 9 will be reflected as well. Something similar to this happened right after Open Mainnet when they recalled all the migrations. So it should not happen quietly. In this case, it did. So it was clear that that wasn't the case. Now, a lot of people may have noticed that occasionally when you try to unlock your wallet, you'll get a red exclamation point in a triangle showing up on your screen. I don't have a screenshot here to show you because mine's not currently doing it, but I spent a good time over the weekend checking my wallet, and it happened to me a lot. And for at one point it was happening, nonstop for a good hour or so, and then I just left it alone and then came back later and it was fine. So if you're seeing that, don't be alarmed. It will work itself out. It is clear that the Pi network is doing some work on their infrastructure. I don't know if they're getting ready to roll out a new node software, updates to the website. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. The migrations being stopped and these weird issues with their software is a clear sign that they're working on something, and that's got to be a good thing, right? We like them working on things, improving things, making things better. It gives us confirmation that the Pi core team is still on the job. Well, that's all I've got for today. As usual, if anything breaks, I'll be sure to hop on here and let you know. But until then, don't panic, stay the course, and remember, the success of the Pi network begins with you. Pi to the moon. Peace.